So I'm ruined. Let me tell you something. So መኪና ውስጥ it makes sense for me to go like J. Cole, Kendrick እና like ይሄ በቃላት የተሞላ ሂፕ ለመስማት it makes sense to me. I do not want to be outside and you give me wordy hip hop. Like, do not come close to me with that nonsense. ምን እንደምፈልግ ታውቃለህ? That's it. I don't need much.
አሁን this incel community ያየነው ነው በደንብ እያደገ ነው።
What community?
Incel.
Oh, okay.
Incel እንደመጣ ሰምተሻል?
ተመስገን ነው። ኳሊቲ ይልሻል።
Jinx. So አላለቀም።
Domestic violence አይፈቀድም።
Domestic violence. አትፍሩ፣ ሁላችንም ፍሪ ነን።
ነጻነት ፖድካስት። Hi, እንዴት ናችሁ? ሰላም ናችሁ ወይ? Welcome to another installment of the Netsanet Podcast with
ጽላተ and Zion. Today we have Robi with us. Today we're going to start with እንደልቤ segment. We're going to be talking about TikTokers, the TikTok awards and everything we enjoy on TikTok.
Bazaar season, arts and out and about. I think we've done too many events, I think, on this segment.
እንኳን ለዚህ ያበቃን. Too many events. ሰራምን events.
I know. እኔ ደግሞ like እኔ ሄድኩኝ እላለሁ ኧረ እባክሽ ትለኛለች እና
You sound like a ምንድነው
I feel like a delinquent.
No, a morning show. Or those TV reporters and then they go, "Oh really? What is that like?"
Yes.
Yeah. Like you didn't talk about it before the show.
Actually no, we didn't. To keep it authentic እኔና እዚህ ተኳርፈናል. No, I'm joking.
I don't buy that.
Exactly. Anyways, so the city ይህን ሰሞን ያሉ ነገሮች so ግጥም ሲጥም ሄጄ ነበረ በዚህ ሳምንት አትሞስፊር ኦፕን ማይክ ሄጄ ነበር። ኦፕን ማይክ ምንድን ነው መጀመሪያ?
ኦፕን ማይክ ሽፍታ ኦፕን ማይክ ሄደን ነበር።
ግጥም ሲጥም
አትሞስፊርን ስላልሽ እሺ ቀጥ እሺ
ሽፍታ ነበረ።
ሽፍታም አትሞስፊርም
ኦፕን ማይክ I mean the concept of it. The mic is open and anyone who wants to anyone who wants to say anything can, but it usually isn't like that. You know, people feel the pressure of being good at something to actually do it. I actually applaud those people who aren't good at things, you know, like comedians we've seen or poets we've seen. I mean, good open mics are nice, but the original one is, I have to say, shout out to Nabini Mnamin, the Poetic Saturdays. The first open mic we had, Fandika. And they went really well with it. Even Africa was ያለውን slam poetry ራሱ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ እንዲደረግ succeed አድርገው ነበር ምናምን, but then it broke down at some point. There was some problems ምናምን እንጂ they were the original ones. It was amazing, you know, the yellow lighting, the traditional sitting, the edge ምናምን. Yeah, it kind of localized it to let's take open mic and make it like those edge banters that used to exist, if that makes sense. And it was lovely.
Before we move on, R.I.P. to Bini, and may all his friends and family find solace at this time. So ከዛ የተወለደ ነው ግጥም ሲጥም ከፖኤቲክ ሳተርዴይስ ማለት ነው። እና ግጥም ሲጥም ላይ one of my favorite things is people sing, ግጥም አለ፣ መነባነብ አለ, just like observations ሰዎች የሚጽፉት ይዘው ይመጣሉ። እኛም አሁን since we've been going, you get to practice, you get to fail at things. በዚህ ዛሬ ባለፈው እንደውም በቃ like learn to fail ነው ያለን essentially። ሰይፈ shout out to ሰይፈ currently ግጥም ሲጥምን እሱ ነው ሊድ እያደረገ ያለው።
ሰይፈ ተማም
now they were talking about ጥበብ በአደባባይ የሚል program where የጥበብ ፌስቲቫል ነው and they go የከተማው የተለያዩ ስፖቶች ላይ and present the city with art ማለት ነው። written art, physical art, poems, poets ምናምን እዛ ባሉበት experience ማድረግ የሚቻል ነው። I think that was very interesting. I wanted to go. I think ግን በዚህ weekend ያልቃል መሰለኝ።
I think so, yeah. And it's been, by the way, ጥበብ በአደባባይ has been around for years. And I commend them for having such, I don't know, an organized approach to art, which can be very free form and people do it just, it's really hard to organize art. And then they've decided to take the chaotic streets of Addis and actually make something out of it. And so I find that very impressive. It's been a while, but I think, yeah, it is ending this weekend.
8 years ምናምን ያለው?
Yeah.
ባለፈው ሳይከሳ ያወራት እዚህ ላይ
of course, it is to be expected. It is people in the world of architecture that organize it. I mean, that's just a given. Everyone else is just a delinquent who, you know, writes poetry about their wives or their wife wannabes.
Another thing I actually liked about this open mic things is there's a lot of singers and they get to have people who write poetry. It gives them a chance to actually work together. Because we went to this Kine event and we enjoyed it. It was a whole hip-hop theme nabaro. And everybody in there was almost performing and ready to hype up whoever was performing, and it was almost culturally appropriate hip hop vibes no miseto, and I like that part.
That was hosted at the Social, hosted by Ras and I think Zaya, yes. Zaya is a producer and Ras is a rapper, producer, artist, painter. Yes. All of these things. So Addis very. So Addis hip hop artistoች አይተናል. It was ተስፋ ሰጪ ነበር ካሰብኩት በላይ. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much. አንዳንድ ሰዎች አጠገቤ ስቲፍ ሲሆኑ ነበረ እኔ ግን like I
ተስፋ ሰጪ በምን አኳያ?
So what do you like about hip hop? What type of hip hop do you like?
I like it in its own environment, to be honest. What? I mean, I really do. It's because when I asked you, it's like...
what type of hip-hop
exactly,
do you
in its
like?
own environment. In my
so
younger
all
years...
type of hip-hop, depending on the environment.
Yeah. In my younger years, it was Eminem. I don't know, maybe it wasn't conscious, but I think it was because he spoke about the plight of his life in such a very, let's say, expressive manner.
I hate mommy. That's what you like?
Hey, I said about his life,
You see why we have to edit?
Yeah, I do. But we don't have to edit
this.
We don't have to edit this
part. Literally, Eminem did.
And then we don't.
Okay.
We don't. And then from Eminem, I think I got stuck at J. Cole. Same reason, by the way. Again, it's not because J. Cole talks about the African-American struggle, but he expresses the plight of his own life I mean... Have you ever guys heard about you have Wet Dreams? The song?
Yes.
Do you know that says more about the man-woman interaction and dynamic and peer pressure and why men act the way they do and why women act the way they do in just 4 minutes and something. And it's actually very obscene and very explicit, but the way he wrote it and the way, you know how the song ends where it goes... both of them didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like, ምን እያደረጉ እንደሆነ አያውቁም ግን የሆነ ሰክሰዋል ሁለቱም እዛ ፖይንት ላይ ለመድረስ. I love that. That's what, and it wasn't Eminem, I hate mommy, but the way even his life evolved with his music as well is what I love. And so ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ እሱን ለማምጣት ስንሞክር I missed the point.
እሱን እያመጡ አይደለም. That's I feel like you're doing them a disservice by not actually entertaining what they're doing and just labeling them. I think
that might be the case
because እንደውም አሁን ባለንበት stage hip hop አገርኛ ነው the most popular version of hip hop ለኛ.
What is hip hop አገርኛ?
አክሰንቱ ሲጨመር
You are not so I'm doing them a disservice. Okay.
No, I'm joking. It's so from what I እስካሁን observe ካረኩትና from the songs that do well the society used, it's more relatable to the normal Ethiopian የሆነ context ያላቸው ዘፈኖች እና ደግሞ well written የሆነ በሚገርም ሁኔታ አያነብም ለሚባል ሶሳይቲ ለግጥም በጣም ቦታ አለን
በጣም እና
like ግጥሙ well written ከሆነ ምንም አይነት ዘፈን ተቀባይነት አለው። አሁን ለምሳሌ ኡኖን ጀምበሩ ዘፈን it's doing really well ስለ ሰርተን እንብላ ነው ምንም ሌላ ነገር አላሉም። there's no explicit የሆነ ወሬ there's been hip hop around ኮኛ ሀገር for like decades at this point አይደል ስለዚህ like the most popular የሚሆኑት ወይም ደግሞ the most mainstream የሚሆኑትን ኮንቴክስታቸውን ስታየው they're not doing all that.
Right.
What they're doing is relatable content to the average Ethiopian, and that's what works እዚህ ሀገር.
With the context of the event, though, I love the event. That was actually, I feel like whenever we adopt something, we kind of skip a bunch of steps.
Okay.
Or maybe, hip hop did go through the step and I wasn't out there, or I wasn't old enough to actually see this. But I think it should start as a mini culture rather than, it being very upfront, because you said they're relatable and stuff. Sometimes I miss that. Sometimes I miss it with the video clips of a guy who gets, paid millions for a particular clip, but then he's in Charco saying, I represent the hood.
I understand.
You know what I mean? So as a mini culture in these events where they get to amplify what's good about this, about expressing yourself, breakdancing, which is really nice when it goes with hip hop and so forth. That is amazing. But then whenever it, pushes to the mainstream, they kind of lose their touch.
So ያየናቸው አርቲስቶች like በጣም ብዙ variety ነበራቸው. Like currently, what type of hip hop do you like? Sorry, I still need to make the point. What type of hip hop do you like?
Very strong lyrics, very relatable lyrics, and the thing about hip hop and rap, batam ani personally enjoy marago, is when I can listen to your words behind the beat. Hide yamarag nagar sihon, for me personally, batam ust indigaba no marago, and I like that. The thing I loved about this event, again, there was this performer. I don't know if I can mention his name. A Blueface Ibarat. He was dancing throughout the whole night. He was a very good dancer. He was hype. He was very active.
The one with long hair?
Long hair. I don't know how to describe it. And then he was dancing and performing throughout the whole night. And then we found out he's also an artist. He's also a hip hop artist. And I was really fascinated by the fact that the support was real. Like, even ክፍሉ ሲቀዘቅዝ, I'm there to support you የሚለው energy.
Yes,
that was it. And I really loved
nice
that part.
Okay. You didn't tell me what type of hip hop you like now.
I'll take her answer.
So I'm ruined. Let me tell you something. So መኪና ውስጥ it makes sense for me to go like J. Cole, Kendrick, እና like he በቃላት የተሞላ ሂፕ ሆፕ ለመስማት it makes sense to me. I do not want to be outside and you give me wordy hip hop. Like, do not come close to me with that nonsense. ምን እንደምፈልግ ታውቃለህ? That's it. I don't need much.
Okay. You know what? I concur. When it's the nightlife, when you're drinking, when you're out,
even
it's
without
hard
the drinking.
to think. It's hard to contemplate about the existential crisis you have in your life with wordy rap. It really is. And so if the guy goes and then you go and then you put your hands up and then it's just a good time.
Yes.
And also there's this kid.
Yes.
Okay, like he had great bit. Okay. The performance was great. He is very entertaining, energetic, ምናምን horrible lyrics. I enjoyed my time. I was happy.
And in also የተለያየ ዓለም ውስጥ ነበር እሱ perform ሲያደርግ.
And I was like, ooh, yeah.
So there's a difference in sobriety at that moment between you two.
No, actually we were both stark sober.
I prefer lyrics I could actually listen to. She prefers something that is much more vibrant. እና በዛ ሰዓት the same music እየሰማን receive እያደረግንበት የነበረው አንድ አይነት ኤነርጂ አለ።
I understand you. I see you. I understand you. This is fun to me. I don't know what you mean.
But then I do appreciate all of these events, whether it's the Baddabawa for architecture students who really went through a tough time in school and they get to express themselves and they get to paint the city as they see fit, and then hip hop events where
ደግሞ ይሄ እኮ I think it's very tiny እና ደግሞ ልጆችም they're up and coming ገና.
That's why it was like one corner. Even the 5 minutes that I got to see them, I have to say, I enjoyed that they were in their own element. And I do hope we can go from one element to the other and speak about the event that is happening tomorrow night.
Yes.
What's happening tomorrow
TikTok.
night? Oh, TikTok
Creative
Award.
Can someone clarify this for me? Is this the first one or the second one?
I don't know. I've never heard of a Creatives Award.
I think it's the second one. I think, and I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I didn't know if I wanted to start the conversation with this or end the conversation with this, but there was a Key and Peele skit, and they did this dystopian Dostoevsky or George Orwell kind of skit, where they did an ESPN type of show, but it's with teachers. So they wanted to see what a better world would be like. And they would show highlights, and it would be a teacher in a classroom, and they were just calling out someone who wasn't paying attention or something like that. And they were awarding them, and a teacher gets traded for millions of dollars and stuff. And they created that. But no, that's not the reality. We don't get to have creative awards for teachers. You get to have them for TikTokers. So what are our thoughts on that?
So you haven't learned anything from TikTok?
I have, but to be honest with you, not from a majority of it. And that is such a good point, because yesterday I ran into an imam on my FYP, and he was making the same exact points that Salat was making. He was just like, I went to a stage or something, and they asked me, can you show us your TikTok? And your TikTok FYP? And it's like, yes. And they were scrolling 10, 15 times, and they weren't finding anything but constructive. So I understand that TikTok is a tool, and it is how you use it. But I don't think our population is constructive enough to actually use the tool as it is. And it was the same case with Facebook, as I've seen. It was the same case. I love LinkedIn a lot more, because there's a lot more support on how to use the platform, on how to grow your profession, on how a lot of things. But what I'm seeing from TikTok, for example, if you say it's about making more money, I think people giving tips on TikTok is single-handedly responsible for getting PayPal and something, Wise, not giving access to Ethiopians anymore. If it is,
why?
When it becomes popular, the government gets wary of it, and then they actually get exposed to it. The platform gets unwanted attention. These kind of things are not for to go on these platforms and say, this is how you can make illegal money on these websites. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So when they're trying to help even, they go about it the wrong way.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You know history. You love history. What do you think about the gladiators?
Okay, they were entertainers. They were slaves of their own physicality.
Why do you think the emperors paid them so much to entertain?
Because they were huge.
No.
If they weren't paid in that manner, they would do other destructive things to the emperors.
And the slaves, being distracted, do not have the time and energy to actually connect the connections they're supposed to.
Okay.
So, I think history teaches us a lot of things, and it's for a reason. This entertainment companies and entertainment value has this much finances for a reason. Even though it's not great, it does keep people distracted from the questions they do. Well, people don't want you to ask.
So, wait, in this metaphor, are we the gladiators?
Do you think you're the gladiator?
No.
Well,
hey, in terms of other things, and not muscles. Hey, muscles were important thousands of years ago. Yes.
Please tell me you mean brains.
Yes,
brains. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
And then in terms of brain power, gladiators had. I have what you can call an asset that, if activated properly, I mean, I don't think I would become a good political leader, but I think I could become someone in the background that would bring about things that the government doesn't like. I think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more about for me...
statement to political
for me, it's just the only thing is, I wish before TikTok, a lot of people knew about, for example, Library Genesis. One of the biggest assets to learn something if you are in a developing country and if you don't have access to foreign exchange. Like Coursera, Udemy, and all of these things on the internet. So there are TikTokers that are amazing. I will never discount that. There are TikTokers I love. There are TikTokers that I'm a fan to. Is that the correct term? That I'm a fan of. But then this collective coming together and getting into a circle...
Okay.
It just irks me, but it's nice. It's not that they found their own sector.
What are the qualities of a TikToker awarded as a matter? So
I don't know.
Because I don't think it's the usefulness or categories
አላቸው። Comedy, music, የራሳቸው
ግን by the end of the day types of entertainment.
Is it like rap?
I'm pretty sure educational ይኖራል somewhere in there.
I hope so.
Is it like rapped though? Like stats ይወጣሉ? You remember rap Spotify ላይ አለ አሁንም TikTok ላይ መጥቷል ምናምን.
So I'm not sure how this works. ምናልባት ካለቀ በኋላ we'll add in the details. Yeah. So እኔ ደግሞ here's the thing. Again. If you want entertainment, nobody's going to stop you from seeking it out. While okay, I'm about to say it. Not every part of the society is supposed to take everything seriously. Not every part of the society is supposed to take education everywhere. Not everyone is supposed to be doing the same exact thing. If you want education, it's your responsibility to go seek it out. If somebody does not want to, you do marketing.
Yes.
ሰው የሚፈልገው ማቅረብ ነው የሰው ስራ, right? የአንድ ማርኬተር ስራ. Yeah. So let's say you have a TikTok page. Now you do like 4 or 5 types of videos for the first few weeks. One of them kind of gets more attention than the rest, right? But you that's not the thing you wanted to start TikTok for. But there's money in this. Do you stick to the content you wanted to build? When do you stick to the one that will guarantee money? A lot of people አሉ, they make their choices. መጀመሪያም ደግሞ በአላማ ወደ ቲክቶክ የመጡ ሰዎች አሉ, ሰው ስላደረገው ያደረጉ ሰዎች ሊኖሩ ይችላሉ. you know what I mean? So for whatever reason ሰዎች የተለያየ ዳይሬክሽን ይመጣሉ. እና I think እኔ ያው I can't believe I'm the optimistic one about this country, ግን ይሄ I think Ethiopians need to be bombarded with horrible content for a few years. ለምን እንደሆነ ልንገርህ. discerning የለንም እኛ እንደ ህፃን ልጅ የተያዘ ማህበረሰብ ነው. ኮንተንት ይከለከላል, everything ይከለከላል. እንደ ህፃን ልጅ የተያዘ ህዝብ ነው. we don't have access to a lot of information, which means discern ማድረግ አልለመድንም ማለት ነው. so ያንን እስክንለምድ ድረስ ኮንተንት ብዙ መውጣት አለበት.
yeah.
ስለዚህ like with that in mind, I love this for everybody. They make money. ስራ አግኝተዋል. It's like I don't like I'm not a huge fan of the taxi hailing services እንዲ መብዛታቸው, ግን I'm a huge fan of the beer drinking guys having work. Does that make sense?
The what drinking?
You know the
okay.
30 something year olds that have work that you know. So በቀን 5-6 ሰዓት ሰርቶ ደና ገንዘብ ያገኛል. ከሰው ጉሮሮ ላይ ይወርዳል ራሱን ስለሚችል ገባ. It's the same thing. TikTok serve የሚያደርገው purpose ብዬ ማስበው እኔ it's the same thing. There will be creatives ራሳቸውን እስኪያገኙ ጊዜ ይፈጃል. Let them go out there, try things. ከዛ በኋላ whatever works, they will be that. አሁን ለምሳሌ እኔ my favorite TikToker for a long time ዮንዚማ ነበር. ሂማሩ በቃ ያስቀኝ ነበር, ግን he wanted to do music. ከኮሜዲ ወደ ሚውዚክ እስኪመጣ እሱ took time አይደል? Because now he does music and he's a DJ. You go see him everywhere. We rarely see him do comedy the way he used to. Good, he still does it, right? So I think most people that have real value in the TikTok environment will eventually go in that direction. Now, like I said, there will be a mass content.
That's what I can test. So I want you to look at TikTok or TikTokers or the TikTok Creative Awards even being a thing as a metaphor for the loose line between art and entertainment. You know, the way it is. I don't even want you to go to education. Like that was not the point that, you know, I was trying to pull. So you said we need to be bombarded with years of shit content for us to actually realize that it's shit. What I don't like about that is, for example, for me, I had the privilege of, you know, having good education, having a good command of the English language. አማርኛም እንደዛው ማለት ህፃን እያሉ ያነበብኳቸው መጽሐፎች እንደዛ ማንበቤ ለእኔ ትክክል ነው ብዬ አላስብም፣ ግን ቋንቋውን እንዳውቀው ረድቶኛል። ስለዚህ ኢንተርኔት ላይም ስወጣ
he literally took away the eye contact.
ኢንተርኔት ላይ ስወጣ የምፈልገውን ነገር እንዴት እንደማገኝ አውቀዋለሁ. That has been so useful even in my job because, for example, we need to find sometimes we construct mood boards, right? To see what TV commercials would look like, or we are trying to convey a particular mood, not a mood, a pillar in a strategy, and we need an image. I know what website to go to, how to search. People don't know that you need to be dumb for Google. If you want a man leaving his house with a black hand, You just say, black man, door, hand. Knowing this, it took a lot of privilege for me to actually know this. That's what I think digital influencers or people of influence need to advocate for as well. How can we bring that digital literacy? How do you use these things? How can you become better? It just, if it was, put mizan ላይ ቢቀመጥ ኖሮ, I feel like the bad outweighs the good. That is all.
እሺ
ማለት as much as I love content, the issue ምን እንደሆነ ታውቂያለሽ? It gives birth to not so pleasant people. እዛ ጋር ነው my issue, because አሁን this incel community ያየነው ነው, በደንብ እያደገ ነው.
What community?
incel.
Oh, okay.
femcel እንደመጣ ሰምተሻል?
ተመስገን ነው. quality ይልሻል.
jinx.
እና እሱ ነው የምልሽ, instead of trying, ማለት the minute you give a group of people, okay, we're there for you, and then it also becomes an hindrance for them to change patterns. ገብቶሻል? I have a team of people that support me, ማለት okay, there's nothing wrong with me, it's the society, so I don't have to change የሚለው delusionም ሊሰጥሽ ይችላል አብሮ.
Okay.
እና አሁን እያየሁ ያለሁት እንዲህ አይነት በጣም ሪስኪ አይነት ፓተርንስ ኢንሰልስና ከገባኝ ወደ ፖለቲካ ውስጥ ልንገባ ስለሆነ እንተውና a lot of risky patterns የሚደጋግሙበት ነገር ይኖራል.
We call them ultra groups.
Ultra groups, thank you. Marketing done right ማለት ነው. እና ultra groups ታይበታለሽ. እነ ግሩፕ ይቀመጣሉ, and then because it's an echo chamber የሚሰሩት ስራ በአጠቃላይ እየተጣመመ dangerous people killing point ላይ የሚገቡበት point አለ. So ድሮ I used to think, content entertainment ነው, for each his own የሚለው ነገር ሀሳብ ነበር. However, you see the pattern that the people that create the echo chamber eventually actions ሲወስዱም የተጣመመ action ነው የሚወስዱት. እና when you go and talk to them, they repeat the same thing they've heard in their group. ገብቶሻል? It's not me, it's the society. It's not me, it's her. It's not ምንም አይነት responsibility ለመውሰድ ለመለወጥ ሀሳብ የለንም. We would rather have people that repeat the things we think and not challenge us into being better people. And እሱ part ያስፈራኛል about content.
Yeah. But we do still have to give a lot of credit to TikTokers because, for example, I am an unpublished TikToker. I have like...
We did not know.
I did.
So, like, I told you I have like 4 accounts, one from, one for spam from my Facebook account, one from my email, one from some other email and stuff. My actual name, with my actual face has just 2 published videos. And that was, let's just say, a bad, nice mistake. I have like 56 TikToks where I was either dancing or doing comedy or some skit or some trend I participated in. I never published them. I publish private, I download, I delete. I never had the courage to do what these kids do. And it takes a lot to actually become...
Yes, it does.
To actually
I'm sorry, I just remembered something.
Okay, to actually become, expose yourself so much to the public, because people can be brutal if you guys are, a fan of the comment section.
I had no clue.
Yeah, really? You didn't know? My God. Wait for it. It will hit you. So yeah, really big ups to TikTokers. And it takes a lot. Even when I was doing TikToks at home, finding the right setting, finding the right camera angle, the story transition. There are TikTokers that I love. And you don't even see it. I can mention one if it's possible.
Yes.
There's a TikToker called, I hope they have a category called underestimated or unnoticed. She's called Green Meat Mita. Wholesome. Like the nooks and crannies of life that she finds and puts it በአማርኛም በእንግሊዝኛም እየደባለቀች. There's this one, the guy that I want dumped me. And then she used ኳስ ውስጥ ፖፑላር የሆነ ትራክ እንደ ኦዲየንስ አድርጋ ሰፖርት እያደረጓት ከዛ እሷ ሰራተኛ ሆና እናቱ ጋር ልትሄድ ነው ልትቀጠር። The way she termed that,
yes.
The caption,
yes,
like the way she constructed that, lipsu, costume, kurtu festalu, she had a lot of things I feel like that went into making that 5-second, 6-second video.
Yeah.
So I appreciate them. I really do.
Yeah.
Even though it worries me, where are they leading a highly growing digital population in Ethiopia? Big ups to them. It takes a lot of work. From my work perspective, y'all are too expensive to hire as influencers. I do not like that fact. They act like spoiled brats, but I'm paying them for like the 10 years of work and not that 10-second video. And so for that, I'm like,
I see.
የሆነች ልጅ አለች ቲክቶክ ላይ ሳሊ I can't remember her name ታግ አረጋታለሁ እዚህ ላይ eventually ይጻፋል I'm not saying she says anything out of the box ሁሌም ሌላ ሰው የሚደግመውን ነገር ነው የምደግመው however I find it very entertaining እሷ ስታደርገው for some unknown reason እሷ ፊት ሲጨመርበት በተለይ ስቶሪ ታይምስ አሏት ያጋጠማትን ነገር አሁን ለምሳሌ እብድ ሲደበድባት ያለውን ታሪክ ታወራልሻለች
ወንድም ተገሉ ስካርፍ አረንጓዴ ቢጫ ምናምን አይነት ስካርፍ ያላት
I don't think so it's quite ታግ አረጋታለሁ ብያለሁ
one I saw and she used duldum instead of dedab and it has changed my life. Wow. She was talking about being in med school and I was just like perfectly ግብት ያለ ቃል ነው now what have I been doing with my life alkuኝ it's just so subtle and cute and she's just insulting everyone.
እቺኛም በጣም ነው መወዳት she talks about how she found out her brother was the one fighting random stories ግን እሷ ስትናገረው all of a sudden it's very entertaining I like her.
ወይኔ ጉዴ ፈላ ወይኔ ጉዴ ወይኔ እናቴ
you know education wise it's more psychology is that whether it's TikTok or advancements in psychology they kind of segment the population into two. There is this uptown ruler we don't really survey, we don't really care about, even though we market in an 80% agrarian community. We don't really notice them or care about them. So we still have to remember whether TikTok is influential or not, it's still, I think, 8 million, the internet penetration. And TikTok is 3 million at the moment in Ethiopia. So what worries me is that as well. I feel like there's a growing divide between the trend makers and those it actually affects. You know what I mean?
Do you remember? Okay, so I don't expect you to remember this again. We had this discussion the first time we met each other, Ninanta. This art and marketing emilo concept la never discussed now. And the thing is, I think, you know, please feel free to do, you know, I think marketing is always emphasizing the 1% lifestyle. That's it. That's all you do. So even 3 million hona 80 million the people that actually see your marketing schemes, by the end of the day what we want you to buy is connected to the 1% and time and time again say le miarago or it will make you the 1% or it will push you to that direction. So artem what is that mihido because most of the time at least duro when art was this expensive thing where only the luxurious could buy it, the people getting painted were part of the 1%. Ahunam marketing less style, it's advocating that 1% lifestyle. So even 3 million bihonim TikTok la yallachu yallo so Ethiopia ust you I mean whether we like it or not you know the idea of selling the 1% will always work.
Just
I have like
point
5
on that.
pushbacks on everything you've said, Scout.
No, I expect nothing less.
In this corner, let me just give you a segue. I work in a marketing and marketing ustam duldum. Like I really am. I've worked in it for like
integrated so fast.
I know.
For let's say advertising specifically, but you can call it marketing or selling people things. I worked in it 5 years and I still feel like I don't know anything. What I can tell you is I've been able to work in a company that has strived የሆነ ያክል extent itchin rule avoid ለማድረግ. I want you to remember that marketing is not a social service, right? If we're told that a majority of housemaids buy this particular type of soap by our client, we're going to sell to the housemaids, we're going to have their type of language on their ad. But nonetheless, the company I've worked in, specifically mobile money like, we had this case study. I think South America, Colombia, or Venezuela. Again, I don't know, put the link up or something for you guys to see the case study as well. There is a town which is quite almost illiterate, but they've gone cashless. And they've gone cashless. There was one mobile money company They just decided to go in with USSD instead of smartphones. They decided to educate the people. And there are no transactions that involve cash in that town. With the company I've worked with, I've been able to work on such brands where they actually focus on from the ground up or from the bottom up. And I'm really proud that at least some part of marketing tries to do that. It is not profitable though. If you don't sell to the 1%, it's going to be like moving a mountain or 2 or 3.
Advertising the 1%ish.
Yeah. If you're not doing that, it's...
Exactly.
Pushbacks. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5.
Okay. 1. Incels are not the only bad. It's just bad content still. What I mean is wasting your time. የምንላቸው content. Incels, this is going to come out wrong. I'm gonna lie.
Okay.
Incels for whatever reason are like a rite of passage to most men. ይገቡበታል ይወጣሉ. I don't think it's on the internet it sounds loud. Off the internet it's not. How many incels do you know in person?
Like I don't want to say for obvious reasons.
I don't know, like give me like out of the many male friends you have, inceloቹ ይበዛሉ?
I'll skip that question. I don't want to say Kati. I don't want to say because አንደኛ we just explained that online ያለው ህይወት reflects on what you actions you take in real life. እኛ society ውስጥ incel አለ ወይ ብሎ መጠየቅ ከባድ ነው because most of our society being an incel and a positive ነገር ነው የሚያየው. ገብቶሻል? Yes.
Here's what I mean. Okay. This is going to hurt as it comes out of my mouth, but I love you. I think if you associate yourself with these people in real life because for whatever reason በቃ አሉ ብለሽ ከተቀበልሻቸው ኦንላይንም ታገኘዋለሽ እሱን ኮንተንት. In real life, if you associate yourself with topics such as መጃጃል, ጊዜ ማጥፋት, ኦንላይንም ታገኘዋለህ. In real life, if you associate yourself with the topics of education, ኦንላይንም ታገኘዋለሽ. I don't think you can blame the TikTokers for reflecting what the people are doing. And ሁለተኛ ነገር, the reason I think content መብዛት አለበት ብዬ ማምነው right of passage ነው. people ያዩታል ብለው ያልተሰለች አንድ ነገር ነገሩኝ እስቲ። ኢቢኤስ ሲመጣ አሽቃብጠናል። ኢቲቪ መጀመሪያ ሲመጣ የሰይጣን ነውላ ተብሎ ነበር አይደለ? ያ አሁን ቲቪ ማን ነው የኛ ጀነሬሽን? ከዛስ ቲክቶክ እስከመቼ እናያለን? you know what I mean? እናልፈዋለን and for ካለፍን በኋላም ደግሞ we understand more as a society whether we like it or not. no ብለን ምንተዋቸው ነገሮች አሉ። አሁን ለምሳሌ the first time I saw red pill መሞት መስሎኝ ነበር። ከቤት የሚወጣል መሰለኝም ነበር። አሁን it's like these idiots are still doing this shit ብዬ ነው ማልፈው። So I feel if you watch these things it's more a reflection of you than the TikToker that's making them. ሁለተኛ, considering the kind of society we have, at least they fake some sort of dignity. Have you seen white trash in TikTok? Have you seen white trash TikTok? እግዚአብሔር ማለት በጣም አድሏቸዋል። የኔ for you page አበሻ የለው far more trashy. ነገኑ ላይ far more trashy. So I don't think it's more about Ethiopia. It's about what the people who are scrolling on the app demand. No. Lela pushback. The thing about marketing, bless your hearts. Everything you see, ሱቅ ስትሄዱ, መንገድ ላይ ስትሄዱ, የተጣለ ማስቲካ ስታይ ድረስ, all of that is marketing. To the masses, market እናረጋለን. We're just not doing it the way we advertise እናረግም. Yes. Market ግን እናረጋለን. Where, ለምሳሌ, what is the water you've had today? ፍቅር ለምንድን ያገኘሽው? So distribution is also part of marketing. ሰፈር ድረስ push ከተደረገለ they've done their job.
Okay. Sorry, I let you with the pushback. Yeah.
So ማለቃቀሴ እንዳለ ሆኖ ማለት ነው. And I feel like it's necessary that they have these awards so that they incentivize የሆነ level of integrity, hard work ምናምንን incentivize ያደርገዋል። ልጆቹ of course እሺ ገንዘብ እያገኙ ነው፣ ግን what else do they have to show for it ነው? ገንዘቡ ሲደርቅስ for whatever reason ላይፋቸው in danger ላይ ቢሆንስ what accolades can they show for the past 2-3 years of their lives? yes sure ሌሎች ካሪየሮች on the side build ይደረጋል ግን I feel like considering ከኮቪድ በፊት ኢንፍሉዌንሰር ማርኬት አልነበረንም ከኮቪድ በፊት there was no other way of ምንድነው ማስታወቂያ aside from TV radio eventዎችም ራሱ like we had like 3 or 4 going on አይደል አሁንስ we have multiple events multiple people who appear and make the events a thing you know what I mean ለተለያየ ሰው multiple people who are pushing different type of topics አሁን ለምሳሌ we get doctors we get dermatologists psychologists lawyers on TikTok አበሾች ስለኛ ሀገር የሚያወሩልን I think this reflects also well on the society I understand we know ሌሎች content creators a lot but I think it reflects more on us than it does on the TikTok culture so I have faith considering the way things have been going that ትክክለኛው content እየተመረጠ ይሄዳል eventually እስካሁን persevere ያላደረጉ ብዙ ቲክቶከሮች አሉ tiktokers that fell off tiktokers that didn't know how to turn it into better directions in their lives ወዘተረፈ there are tiktokers that are viral but don't have money there are tiktokers that are not quite advertisement pool የማያደርጉ tiktokers አሉ I think it's በዚህም ተባለ በዛ የራሱ የሆነ ኢኮሲስተም ክሬት አድርጎ መገኘቱ is commendable እና ደግሞ I think it's necessary
So I remember when I said እንደሚዛን ብናየው it's more bad than good when I was saying earlier you would say that it's a reflection of society for me I have to just abstract it a little bit more I have a friend of mine who thinks my job is not a necessity in you know in reality
does he own clothes does he have food
no I can make I do
marketed based
on once again but I do a disservice to his argument I really do but more or less I think his point goes marketing entertainment let's say creative arts and such are they leading to a total dissociation of reality and fantasy because when you said TikTokers reflect, aren't they responsible adults?
Aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we should blame each other and everyone because we're the one who kind of make them think that these things are good. And then they're the ones who actually take that message and do something more with it. And then it just, you know, it's like
Andy, what's the worst TikTok you've seen?
The worst TikTok I've seen, one of the alter groups either was about being a Sigma or about how women suck or it was about something about a very individualist mindset where you don't care about what people think of you or what your responsibilities are or what your duties are. Yeah. Yes. But I can't remember exactly who they were or what, but I knew.
Oh, is that the male group podcasting?
Oh, እሱ እንኳን እኔ ጋር መጥቶ ያውቅ
we can skip that. We don't need to get into the name.
I'm trying to get an idea of who we're exactly accusing. ምክንያቱም from my understanding of the Habeshan TikTok ማለት ነው there's always something that they're doing. Whether we like it or not, they do most of them do bring value. If you hate it so much, as responsible adults, እናልፈዋለን አይደል? ከዛ ማያልፉት ሰዎች ደግሞ eventually they come over ብዬ ነው ማስበው። ለምን እንደሆነ ልንገርሽ።
ኦፕቲሚስት ስለሆንሽ
conversations, comment sections ምናምን ታያለሽ አይደል? You literally watch some people just do this በጣም የሆነ ሰሙራይዝ ያደርጋሉ ከዛ ቀስ ብሎ ሲወርዱ ታያላችሁ ሲወርዱ ምንድነው የሚፈጠረው these people leave the people that were watching them እና made them a thing for a season they leave them I'm done ነው በዚህ ላይ ደግሞ የቲክቶክ አልጎሪዝም happily so ሪሳይክል ያደርጋቸዋል ሰዎችን የሆነ ሰሞን በጣም እንትናን ታያለሽ በቃ ስልችት ይልሻል ከዛ ደግሞ የሆነ ሰሞን እንትናን አይታችሁ ታጣቁ እና would be months
አሁን as a pattern ያያየን ያለ ነው እኛ ሶሳይቲ ውስጥ እኛ አሁን ይኸውልሽ the reality of it ነው ከተባለን እኔ you just mentioned your FYB ፈረጆች ናቸው and then ሁለተኛ ደግሞ በተደጋጋሚ ያያየን ያለ ነው አሜሪካን ውስጥ ኢንሴል ተብሎ የተቀመጠው እኮ እኛ ጋር ኖርማል ማን ነው ገብቶሻል I'm sorry to say it. The only difference is ምን እንደሆነ ታውቂያለሽ? የኛ ሶሳይቲ አክሰፕት ያደረገውን ማይንድሰት ነው። አይተነዋል። ባለፈው ሴታ ሴት ግሩፕ መታ ስታወራለን about the situations and circumstances they view women in, በተለይ women in need እንዴት ትሪት እንደሚደረጉ ግልጽ አድርጋ ነው የነገረችን። So this incel community incel mindset ለኛ ሶሳይቲ አዲስ ነገር አይደለም. It's just አሜን ብለን ስለተቀበልነው ስም አላወጣንለትም ነው. Because the minute they get an opening to you and towards your body ምን እንደሚያደርጉ with statistics አይተነዋል. So if you have an opening to educate these people and if you don't take it, እዛ ጋር ራሱ like what exactly are we trying to change? What exactly are we wasting our time on የሚለው ነገር ነው የሚያስጨንቀኝ ለኔ as an individual. Because if we are taking responsibility, the minute we got this and አንቺ we started talking about the topics we wish to change in society. Psychology ማልሹ የሴቶች መብት አልሹ. We have not spent a single episode without saying what we wanted to say and what we wanted to change. The same responsibilities ራስሽ ላይ የጣልሹን how could you not expect it from the people you actually give time to? No. ገብቶሻል? ቀጥል።
No,
I don't give my time to these people. That's the point.
አልሹ
It's my responsibility to watch and praise the things that align with my thoughts. ሰዎች እዚህ ጋር እስኪደርሱ ጊዜ ይፈጃል. That's my entire point is እኔ ፌስቡክ መጀመሪያ ያየው ቀን ይሄን ሰው አልነበርኩም. I used to have memes like በጣም ዳርክ የሆኑ ነገሮች አይቻይቼ eventually አሁን like I only read happy endings, I only watch like ገብቶሻል አይደል?
ኦፕቲሚስት ነሽ ያልኩሽ ለዛ ነው. I wish society was like you.
Like there was a phrase you mentioned, rite of passage የሆነ
Yes.
ብቁ ለመሆን ምናልፍበት ነው አይደለ? Has Facebook changed in your opinion?
በጣም ለማርኬት ፕሌስ ነው የምንሄደው. the meme groups አሁን የትዳር ግሩፕስ ሆነዋል. አልገባሽም? There used to be this amazing meme group እና ተጋብተው I'm here like ስመጣ እንትና የሆነ ሀገር እንትን ፎቶ ፖስታለች እንትና ተጋብተዋል ምናምን. It's like everybody just moves on from those things.
Okay.
That's what you think.
No,
because
I'm speaking from
ስለምታድጊ ነው as an individual እንደዛ መጣ.
Yeah, so from the
our society however holds its value like their life and ተደጋግሞ repeated patterns እያየንበት ነው. በተለይ because of the openings they're getting አሁን because of the situations we've heard about enough እያየነው ነው ምንም ነገር እየተለወጠ እንዳልሆነ.
So I speak about these platforms because if we're going to speak about TikTok and if we're going to speak about TikTokers, it's mostly like a loose play on the word influencer. And influencers have existed during the era of Facebook. They've existed during the era of Instagram.
YouTube መጀመሪያ ሲመጣ when they didn't even know about
monetization. I mean, back then it was like, you know, when I see those people who tried 12 years ago to do something on YouTube,
12 years ago? ከዛ በልጧል እኮ
like again, internet access.
Oh, sorry.
You know, internet ቤት ሄደን ሄድፎኑ በአንዱ በኩል ብቻ ነበር የሚሰማው. እሱን ያለ የምታያቸው የነበሩትን እና for me, I feel like I like your optimistic approach. But I don't even trust myself to be part of the change for good. Because I feel like Instagram, it still wreaks a havoc on mental health. It hasn't changed. And I think even the people who get on it, sure, they've gone through a rite of passage, but I still think they participate in that kind of culture. TikTok, I haven't figured out. I don't know, like, I can't pinpoint what it's doing wrong. I can't go 1, 2, 3, it's, you know, encouraging these kind of things. But I do feel like it is shifting towards that. Facebook, it has become the ghetto of social media. It's lovely.
Really?
Yeah.
And Facebook, how long does marketplace?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, maybe you're the exception and not the rule.
She is the exception. No, she always assumes she's the rule.
Yeah, it's like okay.
Again, the privilege
like, oh my God, you just reminded me of something.
Okay.
So your defense mechanisms.
No, you just made everything just connected. የሆነ ነገር ስትሉ. So we used to have ኢትዮ ትዊተር የሆነ ሰሞን ላይ and it was so amazing. It was so much fun. አሁንስ everybody we thought was cool ምናምን private ሆኗል. and ከዛ አሁን ደግሞ ደስ የሚልሽ ትዊተርም it does a for you page and following. I haven't seen my following in like months. For you page, it thinks I'm a black woman.
Thanks, Naju.
I'm an African woman. I'm a black woman is it completely different?
Okay,
Okay,
so I think
so I'm delusional.
Yeah.
And defense mechanism switch direction.
Denial, yeah, I think.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're optimistic, you're ultimately in denial.
Yeah, again, like, for some reason, I just assume people grow out of these things. So when we started watching K-pop, 5 kilo ያለን Korean ሲመጡ ነበር እና they would teach the language ምናምን እና first off, very bad memory was triggered right there. Second, ይመጡና we would love some of the shows and we would ask them about it. They would have no idea about those shows. I mean, eventually, but they moved on from TV. They made their own TV a thing. Because like the TV channels that are so popular all over the world struggle yaragalu locally ማለት ነው. That's just like I thought eventually what is the ሁሉም ሰው transition የሚያደርግ except you just reminded me of Twitter and my world has crumbled.
We apologize.
So, optimism and denial. I mentioned a point earlier because I wanted it to be a good preview into what we wanted to talk about today.
On Netsanet. On the Netsanet segment.
Yes, this was
it.
so...
Oh, you did it!
We made it to the promised land.
Yeah, we did. Are we good? We did, right?
Oh, he's just checking it.
Oh, okay. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about TikTok.
ስሜታዊ ነን ስለ ቲክቶክ ታውቃለህ? ስለ ኢትዮጵያ.
Yes.
Okay. So denial. Delulu is the salulu. That's been something that's been something that's going on social media. So I think it provides a good preview or segue into defense mechanisms.
Yes.
What is a defense mechanism?
If I may.
As a student of psychology.
Student of psychology once again.
Yes.
As a
enlighten us.
Professional want to be of psychology.
Same.
So it's pretty simple. There was a psychologist who had a specific school of thought in personality psychology. A lot of people know him. A lot of Ethiopians don't like him, including some of the professors that I've encountered. Either they love him or they hate him. Sigmund Freud. He identified or classified personality in 3. There was the id, there was the ego, and the superego. So id operates on the primate principle or the, impulse. Not necessarily. It's more like pleasure principle. So it wants something, it wants to get it. And then there is the ego, which is, again, different from the layman ego. It's more about reality principle. How do we not encroach the rules of society or the rules that, that govern a normal, what is it called, routine or whatever? And then how can I
still
control,
get some pleasure out of it?
Exactly. While the super ego is like morality. So if it's the super ego,
sorry, you went about this the wrong way. Okay.
Okay.
You're definitely in the right podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm joking.
Usually, obviously.
Usually what I like doing is like I go id, super ego, and then ego. It's the easiest way to remember.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like ego kind of brings the two together. It balances them out. So defense mechanisms is where either consciously your ego tries to kind of manipulate your id's impulses into something acceptable or into something less unacceptable, or it just blocks what the id wants. And then it manifests in ways that you don't actually understand. Denial is one of them. Or delulu is the salulu is one of them.
I don't like this.
So I have a fun idea, guys. I don't know if this can be part of the show. When we're having this discussion, it's going to be a really tough job for the editors. To actually keep a defense mechanism tracker at the bottom of this, and how many do we actually go through before we finish this segment?
Let's do this.
Because
I've already gone through denial. So let's
do this.
One. There we go.
This is
I'm going to win this show. I hate this. First, we have displacement. Taking feelings out on others. Example. Being angry at your boss, but taking it out on your spouse instead. So jokes on them. All of us are unmarried. Wow. You have a pet though.
I have a pet.
You had a pet.
I have plants.
You displace too much?
I would never.
Okay, so in Amharic, that would be, once again, we discussed this, right? Ayyan Ferto Daulon would be displacement. Do you ever, is that your favorite defense mechanism?
I don't displace. I meditate.
Okay, you can stop
it
the
has
show.
a name. No. It has a name. No, በኋላ ላይ እናወራዋለን. It has a name ለራሱ.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't displace. I meditate.
One each.
You have one.
One each.
One each. Okay.
Denial.
አንብቢው መጀመሪያ.
Denying that something exists. I hate this segment. እሺ
እና
ኤግዛምፕል ልሰጥ ነው።
እየሰጠን
ኤግዛምፕል ስንሰጥ ማለት ነው። እኔ ቅድም ኢትዮጵያውያን ወደፊት ይሻሻላሉ ያልኩት ፓርት ነው። ትክክለኛ ኤግዛምፕል ለዚህ ላይ የተጻፈውን ስናነብ
if I may just interject here. What I love about defense mechanisms, by the way, I mean, sure, you can go on Wikipedia and search about them, but if you actually introspect, it's really nice to know about yourself and how you do these things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you're like me, and you can't help but associate the world you're in or the thing you learn or the thing that you work with, now I can't help but do something and recognize it as something. So a disclaimer, don't go down this rabbit hole too much. It's not good for you. I mean, sometimes it's good to be in denial and just not know about these defense mechanisms. I don't want them to approach it so seriously that they check themselves with every word they say or with everything that they do.
I think it's a phase you can go through.
It is a phase.
Number 2, denial. Another one.
Again, by the way, ምሳሌውም ይወጋኛል. Okay, being the victim of a violent crime yet denying that the incident occurred.
መድኃኒዓለም.
Silence. Crickets.
Okay, ቀጥ የሚቀጥለው ላይ እንሂድ.
You could have put in the crickets.
Like personal examples more አለባቸው. Let's mess this up.
Okay, can I have this list? I'm going to personalize it.
No.
Sarche libla?
I know
again.
I know
you
both
can give,
of you.
Okay, let's do this. I say it, give examples each.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
So let's start at repression. This is our third one. Unconsciously keeping unpleasant information from your conscious mind. ከድብቁ ስነ-ልቦናችሁ የሚመነጭ ነው ይሄኛው.
There are so simple examples of this. You're abused and you don't know it. That's as simple as it is.
Common in men?
Common in everybody. ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ?
Common in men. It gets... Remember, did we talk about this? About believability?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, who's believed and then who's supported. Milo. In terms of that, I think... I mean, imagine you're a little boy and you're told not to cry and you get the courage to go and tell them even worse. Nah. Yeah. Repression would... unfortunately, we don't have the stats for this. If we can get the stats, that would be lovely.
We'll figure it out.
Know.
Again, I think the lack of stats kind of proves the point.
Oh.
Does it?
Oh.
Okay. It's a meta thing. Okay.
Yeah. It's meta. I haven't said that in a while. Yes. Okay. Do you have an example?
Meta is something of something.
Okay.
ራሱን የሚወልድ ነገር ነው. It's like the serpent that eats its tail kind of thing.
Sorry. Things that don't exist but we refer to as something that exists.
Do you see why? Like
the very lack of existence of something proves its existence.
Repression example would be you don't know why you get angry. For most men, የማስተውለው ነገር in their childhood they've had abuse, physical abuse to be exact, and then they grow up to be very violent people, but they don't really understand what triggers them or why. Process ስላላደረጉት ትራውማቸውን, but ምንም አይነት triggers ሲያገኙ they're ready to fight, they're ready to be violent, but they don't understand it's a part of them trying to get the control back because ያኛው part of their memory repressed ስለሆነ.
Okay, it's like a bagunj. An ongoing bagunj. All right then.
You don't want to say much?
No.
So, okay.
Let's
we're one step closer to what she said. I meditate. One step closer. He's not happy about that one.
Okay. I feel like I have one now, right? I did something. I feel like I did something right there.
Regression.
I think...
No, this is regression. Yeah. This is not repression.
You did
regression. I became a
regression.
child. Yeah.
So one, all of us.
No, you have 5. We have 1 each.
I have what?
5. I didn't even count, but I'm sure you have 5.
That's just so unfair. Suppression. consciously keeping unpleasant information from your conscious mind.
Yeah, this one is just repression, but consciously. And what can this be?
That I guarantee
your, what is it called?
That is me. But I write it out. Or I vent it to the next person I meet. Again, that negative emotion is always by venting.
I did that in my childhood. If I ever got punished, I would convince myself they love me.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing out of love, and then I just forget about it. I only have one incident that I remember because of that.
And consciously keeping unpleasant information from your conscious mind. No, that what you've done is
intellectualization.
Yes. So, I don't think either of you explained suppression. Consciously keeping unpleasant information from your እርሹ እንባባል መርሳት ነው ያለብሽ.
Oh, so ልጆኔ ስታደክሽ የምትባየው ነገር ማለት ነው.
It happens more often as an adult, I think.
Really?
እንደዚህ ብለህ አታስብ. Depressed አትሁን.
Depressed አትሁን.
I think these...
No, I think...
don't overthink it.
No, አትፍሩ. ሁላችንም ፍሪ ነን.
Netsanet Podcast. Funsies.
Do not get into free will, please. Netsanet የሚለውን ስም ላይ አንምጣ, because this show's gonna last 5 hours.
Okay, we need to talk about that stuff. Anyways, this is you through and through. Sublimation.
Oh yeah.
Converting unacceptable impulses into more acceptable outlets.
#WWE.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mukoha. So every time you've seen that on this show, it's filled with mukoha. Yeah, clearly you can tell mine is not filled with mukoha. Yeah. Essentially. So, kadam isatashum example, I think it works into this.
Sublimation, though, I think it is the healthiest out of them, at least.
Okay.
I mean, they're all good, because imagine if defense mechanism does not exist and we did actually act on it, we'd be gone like this. Oh, that was supposed to be a snap. We would be gone like this.
Oh, again, I could tell you there is a side effect to this. I work out until everything hurts.
Sure, you have a lot of anger, I don't know.
Naturally.
I don't think we need to mention men and who want to fight. I think there's a lot of
I did say something and I try to help these people.
But, big ups to sublimation. One of the drivers of sports. My God. Rugby, American football, wrestling. Like, we have identified violence in marriage as an unacceptable way to actually have as a defense mechanism.
No.
What do you mean no without explanation?
What do you mean violence in marriage acceptable አይደለም?
Unacceptable, no.
Unacceptable, I agree.
Okay.
Then it's displacement, not sublimation.
Sublimation usually into healthy outlets.
I agree. I do not disagree at all.
ማህበረሰብ
focus on society ውስጥ
this society.
Yeah. I have to mention it.
Right. You see
that domestic violence is a thing.
How is this now a thing? Usually we're the moderator since we're the wild card. And now you're just...
Sorry,
I've grown up in a week. So displaying everything.
This is going to be horrible to edit. This is going to be horrible.
Here's the thing. If we tally this, what we're doing, we would rank so high. ሁላችንም.
Yeah, let's just put a notice which says, guys, start your bets.
Okay.
Who's going to have more?
Sublimation in ጨረስን አይደል? I think this is very, very common in the people you deal with every day, except yourself. This is my favorite bit about this. Nobody thinks they project. And not like everybody else is projecting, but me, no. የሁሉም ሰው sense. So let's read this. Projection. Assigning your own unacceptable feelings or qualities to others. I think I did it. ጥሩ ምሳሌ ነው የሰጠሁት።
አይ መጀመሪያ ኤግዛምፕል እንድትሰጪ
You hate someone and then you claim that person hates you.
Or the very, very, very common thing in a experience ያደረኩት with is when somebody has an inferiority complex to you, they act like you're beneath them, or like they act like you're doing something very unacceptable for no reason, and then they do that same exact thing, where they talk down to you while saying they feel talked down to, or they say, oh, እኛ ሀገር በጣም common የሆነው ነገር እኔ ጉረኛ ሰው አልወድም ይሉሻል. 2 seconds in, it's like, I am the best. And then like that's a very common experience, I think. When like people provide these mundane things collect ያደርጉና how unique they are express ያደርጋሉ, and somebody just as mundane appears ያደርግ, they're very mundane. And I think that's a very common experience in everywhere we go.
It's much more prevalent, I think, in our education system.
What do you mean?
You know those teachers, and you know those students would be perfect teachers' pets, but they don't like them. So the inferiority complex comes to a teacher and a student who's proficient that they need to be, that they correct them. It is the villain arc of many genius sci-fi where they're like, I don't know, ምንድን ነበር 3 ሲካፈል ለ7 at some age you are told አይካፈልም, but then the student goes no ይካፈላል 3 ሲካፈል ለ7 if you ምናምን ፋክቶሪያል ደደደደ ይባል እዛ ጋር ልጁ ይደበደባል because the teacher goes instead of accepting that they're less smart, they're like that kid is less smart, he's just ያንን
ምን አባቱ ያንቀለቀለዋል እንዴ የሚንቀለቀል ተማሪ ነው የሚመጣለው
exactly you're a teacher you would know አሉ ፕሮጀክት የምታደርግባቸው ተማሪ
no
are there guys let us know in the comments if you're
project የምታደርገው ሳይሆን heavy aura ያላቸው ልጆች አሉ where like you feel like a child around them, like you feel like you're doing something wrong,
but then they're the child ተብሎ ፕሮጀክት አደርጋለች
no like I said everybody projects except me
1 2 3 since ጨመርን so I think
no like I'm just more honest than them. That's what this is.
What is that? I'm just more honest than them.
Give it a minute.
ምንድነው መሰላችሁ እኔ እንጃ anyways ቀጥሎ intellectualization thinking about stressful things in a clinical way. Moving on.
More honest than us, yes. Intellectualize that for us, please. Please, madam.
Darlings, babes, I know the both of you.
Well,
what do you mean? Really?
Intellectualization, please continue.
Yeah. Okay. In a clinical term. Profession, comedian. Profession, marketer, born to lie. Profession, has a business, born to lie. Incentivized to lie. So, me, more honest.
Comedian?
See? Intellectualization.
Okay.
I'm a second.
I would snap if I knew how to. Like, I said,
you can always clap.
Yes. Let's move on to the next one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah.
I think it just triggered him so quick.
Okay. Rationalization. Justifying an unacceptable feeling or behavior with logic. This is my favorite bit. Because Getem mention አርገዋል.
ይቆጠራል አንቺ ላይ በደንብ ነው የሚቆጠረው
እሱ ለምሳሌ ሰጠው እኮ
ይሁን ግን I know you አላሽን ቀድ
yeah you know me fine intellectualization rationalization ላይ ነው ካውንት ማድረግ ነው
just to clarify I think rationalization was maybe it was I mentioned it at the wrong example so I don't think my parents did it actually I was a spoiled brat there was this just one incident and I made my dad angry and then he didn't even hit me he didn't even pinch me he just did he gave me a roller coaster of a ride. Like, you know, he put me up and then just dropped me on the sofa. And what I was told that I said...
He didn't want to beat this kid.
Yeah. What I was told that I said as a response was, Dad did this to me, but no, he loves me. It's because I was the one that was in the wrong. And why I love that I actually rationalized for him, he's actually a good father. He never did anything violent.
So, alalaka. Rationalization.
Domestic violence I forgot.
Domestic violence. Okay.
Domestic is crazy. Rationalization, my favorite type of rationalization እንደሆነ እንገርሽ ይሄንን extend it into a marriage.
I know you said you wanted to do something fun this episode, but I didn't think like ራሳችን ለመቀለድ.
Let's do it.
You know that when እንዴት ነው ትንሽ ካልመታሽማ ምኑን ይወድሻል conversation?
Yeah. Sure.
Peak rationalization. Peak.
Rational መሆን ያስፈልጋል ተቀደሽ.
No. It's like so what you're doing is
convincing yourself of a lie.
Oh. So rationalization essentially that's what it means. Irrational የሆነን situation and ራስሽን rational ነው ይሄ ነገር የተፈጠረበት ምክንያት በዚህ ምክንያት ነው ብለሽ ራስሽን ለማሳመን መሞከር ብቻ ነው. So it doesn't need to actually make sense. It's just like ይሄ like radio ላይ ነገር ይሻላል.
Is it solulu?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just got reminded, guys, I do have a disclaimer to do at the end of the show before our time is up. Please remind me. Yeah, please continue.
You know that ስልኳን ልቀበላት ተከተልኳትና በጥፊ ብያት ስልኬን ሰጥቻ ደውይልኝ ብያት ሄድኩኝ። ይድል ሬዲዮ ላይ ነው. By the way, his story የተነገረ
አልገባኝም.
I can't help it. I cannot help it.
Anxiety. እሺ.
So anyways,
that's the thing.
አሁን ሳይሆን ቆይቷል. እንደ ማንኛውም ወንድ. Another one is ምንድን ላይ ነበረ? ባጃጅ ላይ ገባች እና ቤቷ እስኪያደርሳት ሰደባት. ከዛ በኋላ ሲጨርስ ስልኳን ተቀብሏት ሄደና they're now in a relationship.
Verbal abuse is the thing.
No, like what she garners from that is he likes me.
Wait, okay. I don't want us to steer off topic. So rationalization, right?
Convincing yourself of something.
She verbally abuses me because she wants to make me better.
Oh, we know one of those. Mm-hmm.
Man, don't take.
It's all right.
I need a code, you know.
Okay. Regression.
Regression.
Reverting to earlier behaviors.
This one, I would like to say, is actually much more serious than I would like. So it's usually much more evident in older people. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's my favorite one in older people.
Yeah. Shout out to another, psychologist other than Sigmund Freud or Anna Freud, his daughter, who was actually able to, let people know about all of these things in a public format. So, but there was a guy who, built on their work called Erik Erikson. Interesting story. His name is not actually Erik Erikson. He became American and then he found some cliche American name and then he just went Eric and then what's the last name? Erikson. It's lovely. He talks about old people and he goes, there are two conflicts they go through, either stagnation or generativity. And then with stagnation, you don't feel like your go-to defense mechanism is regression.
Oh, so makanjar?
I have to think because
right? That is the word.
Yeah, the implications with associating a very good psychological hundreds of years established concept to an Amharic word can be very difficult.
I'm sorry, again, stagnation makanjar.
No? Okay. Okay.
Okay. I've never seen it in a person. This is one of the things I haven't seen.
Yes, you have.
Oh my God, you are
Trust
lucky.
me. No. Every person has. If you have an older aunt, if you have a grandma, if you have an older lady, gentleman around where you work, you have experienced
Don't
this,
you have a
100%.
physiotherapist friend?
I do.
Like an old woman who's making so much progress. And then right when her physiotherapist gets in, puts the cup down over here. Always into that infantile position. Even if they get better, there's always this thing within them that just convinces them I'm old. I'm stagnating.
It's not just a physical thing.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say, it's just regression. I think in every age, regress idaragal. I think. How? So your defense mechanism, essentially, your regression kind of touches up on all of them in some way. Let's say your main reaction as anger, no, I
meditation.
Know, say cute. So I know, I'm trying to make an example.
Personally, the minute I'm angry, I write. Or I call somebody I can vent to.
Okay, so when you were younger, that's what you were told to do. ወይም ደግሞ told ብቻም ሳይሆን that was effective to deal with your parents. My favorite personality እንትን ደግሞ እኔ ካረን ሆርኒ ነች.
Okay.
Because she says personality የሚፈጠረው is with the tension you feel with your parents እና እነሱን appease ለማድረግ include የምታረጋቸው ነገሮች ናቸው later in life personality የሚሆኑት. So she
went with Freud's child is the father of man.
Yes. But, okay. No, technically neo-Freudian ውስጥ ነው የምትካተተው እሷ.
Yeah.
So that makes the most sense to me. So when we're talking about regression, ሁሉም ሰው በሁሉም stage experience ያደርገዋል. Another one, when you're dating and stressful የሆነ situation ወይም ደግሞ like you're in an argument, you do not want to be, you do not enjoy this, but you finish the argument. I don't know why. That's what has worked in the past, so you'll stick to it. የተለመደ outcomeን ለማግኘት ስንል during stressful situations we do these things ማለት ነው. So if you see a lot of women who cry, men who walk away, adults when arguing with you invoke a lot of things where they hurt your feelings, where they make you feel inadequate, ወይም ደግሞ they tell you what they are to you, ወይም ደግሞ like you know your position is going to be told to you as if it's going to stop you. እነዚህ ነገሮች into their personality include የሚደረጉት is because at some point in the past it has worked on you, on somebody else, and እነዚህ ነገሮች እንደሚሰሩ ስለሚታወቅ ነው. So old people ይሄንን የሚያደርጉት ለመሰለ they've seen it in their elder generation ላይ you're supposed to help out the elderly አይደል? So intentionally ሳይሆን I'm at a point where other people will take care of me and therefore I can get away with lots of things ይመጣል. So they become more blunt with their words, they become more clumsy with their actions. ምናምን necessarily like ይሄ ተመችቷቸው ምናምን የሚያደርጉት ነገር ሳይሆን they know they can get away with it.
According to Horny.
Because ከዚህ በፊት it has worked. Regression under stress ስትሆኚ በፊት የሰሩትን ሶሉሽኖች ሲክ አውት ታደርጊና intentionally የምታደርጊው ነገር አይደለም ታመጫለሽ. So people with loud angers ጩጬ ሆነው ታንትረም እየወረወሩ የመጡ ናቸው እየወረወሩ. So I think this is I think እኔ እዚህ ጋር ስሜታዊ የሆንኩ ይመስለኛል.
No, it's regression. I think I take part in it a lot, but let's just term, the psychologist you mentioned, the neo-Freudian, let's just term it differently. I think it was our relationship with authority figures. Because it wasn't never about our parents. It could have been about guardians. You have to think of kids who grow up in orphanages or whatever. But whatever authority figure, the earliest authority figure, and then when they had an interaction with you that made you have a negative reaction, that's just what you channel. For example, whatever complicated relationship or whatever instances I've had with my dad, whatever reaction I had to those, I regress when I encounter authority figures, like bosses or people in power or whatever. And then if I have the opportunity, I don't know what it was particularly that I did with my dad, but if I had the opportunity, let's say the typical reactions would be walking away, making a scene, or I do the same thing.
Really?
Unfortunately. Well, that's because right now it's because I feel much more comfortable in my profession.
Okay.
And I have the privilege to regress. በፊት doesn't matter if you had daddy issues or not. Whatever negative reaction your boss and what አድርገሹ ሰምተሽ ሄጃለሽ. Regress. Sometimes aggression. No. Like, I think you can challenge all the bosses that I've had. I will not look into the camera while I say this. If you have the opportunity to meet all the bosses that I've had through, 5 years in my profession, in my earlier years, I was much more timid. My personality didn't get out as much as I wanted to. And I think that's a problem as well. In that sense, I think regression is a privilege. Why is it that old people do it a lot? Why is it old people? Because, generative ነኝ ብለሽ ባታምኚም ከዚህ ትውልድ የሆነ ነገር አሳልፌ ሰጥቻለሁ ባትይም, you learned something that the older generation are supposed to be respected. That respect is not earned የሚለው ሰው የምትመሪ, respect is going to be earned because of ስለሸበች ክብር ይሰጥሻል. ስለዚህ I'm going to act the way that I want. And if I'm going to regress, I'm going to.
Okay. Anything on regression?
I have a question. Is there something will trigger you to regress? Like for a fact, እነዚህን activities ሳያቸው I can almost tell that I'm going back to that version of me. አሁን ለእኔ loud noises ነው. When a person talks to me ከሆነ volume በላይ, I know what a childhood እየሄድኩ እንደሆነ in my head. And I can almost sense it. ለእናንተ ምንድን ነው?
እኔ when I'm talking to a person and they skip through what I'm saying እና የመጀመሪያውን ነገር መልሰው የሚነግሩኝ ከሆነ there will be losing of minds. Because like we're having like እናወራለን. Conversation is like tennis in my head. You hit, I hit, you hit, I hit. You are not supposed to stand in the same way. እና እኔ እንደዚህ እየዞርኩኝ መምታት አይደለም ጌሙ አይደል? ነጥቡ ምንድን ነው? We're both going to be moving across the የምንቆምበት ቦታ ጋር አይደል? So in my head, there is going to be motion of both players. If there's no flexibility, now there's no taking in of the other's words, not available. So eventually, there will be that level of frustration where I'm like, why?
Okay.
Or like, let's not talk about, here's the thing that pisses me off. We're doing this, we're doing the back and forth. And it's not helping, huh? Okay, ብዬ ተዋለሁ. Okay ብዬ ከተውኩት በኋላ the back and forth continue ካደረገ ከመጀመሪያው በሙሉ ጉልበት ነው የምመለሰው. Because why? So እኔ የለመድኩት is if we have conflict አያድርም ነው. ገባሽ? My childhood experience ያደረኩት if we have conflict, we're having conflict ነው. If we're not having conflict, we're just mellow የሆነ ጊዜ ነው. ስለዚህ I don't know how I think these are extremes እና የሆነ ኮንፍሊክትም ወይና ያረግም እና ደግሞ ፒስም ካለሽ just suddenly ነው ስፓይክ የሚያደርገው. You have peace conflict በጣም ፒክ ነክቶ ይመለሳል ነገር ነውና
in terms of conversation and regression though, I share the same feeling. የኔ ግን ምንድነው ለምሳሌ not being paid attention to what you mentioned, I have a physical regression reaction.
No way.
But this is with people, and I have learned to keep this tamed for like a while. Shout out to my sister who noticed it and kept telling me, like, and there are people that it annoys, and it paints you as this, like, that is one of a physical outputs. You know, regression can be so ugly, and it's like one of the simplest things, right? Just tapping at that person every time. Not being paid
attention to. Sometimes it can be a relief. I'm not gonna lie to you. Good.
Next one on the list. My God.
Next on the it's like if you're talking to me, talk to me. If you're not going to do the talking, we're good. Just don't drive me crazy. Reaction formation. I think everybody with like a certain dash of ADHD does this. Okay, replacing an unwanted impulse with its opposite.
Production manager, are you okay listening to this?
Are you being entertained? Reaction formation. Replacing an unwanted impulse with its opposite. My little favorite. So, you know, like, have you had crushes when you were young?
Yeah.
What did you do with your crushes? Because, like... I think this is the one I'm very happy with because I think I would score the least out of the three of us. And it's like I'm weak to my impulses. I give in to them as they are now.
So let's circle back. Your ego did not block your eid very well.
No, it's I think when you were young and sorry,
didn't I pointed? I just saw you know.
I gave up. No, genuinely, it's remember being depressed, like not like ahon yallano like you know functional depression saihon, you know, like functional genuinely
don't know if I should allow that term to float.
I'm sorry. Genuinely in the trenches depressed?
Yes.
What did you do at that time? What did you want to do?
I painted like mata kan salakom land samt.
What did you do in the trenches in the park?
Isolated. Reaction formation I gave into it.
I know. What is the
I gave into it.
You gave into the depression? And I didn't have wants. It was the biggest issue I had was like I was numb for years and I did not have wants. Imagine getting wants after that. Like, I want this. And I'm like, oh my God.
Finally.
There are nice things in the world. And I started doing a lot of things. So I started just like letting my impulses take over. Because resisting. So now I don't think I do reaction formation, but there was a season.
Reaction formation. So Atsalata had mentioned it name. Is
my actual name was used.
It is changing a particular feeling with its opposite, and the most common one that I participate in, that I feel like a lot of people participate in, is look good to feel good. Because I know at the office when people feel good, look good, there are two extremes. Either they're just having a normal day or they're having the worst day of the week or the month. And then they're like, I need to induce the opposite.
Okay.
Like, I need to induce the opposite. So they give themselves this stimulation where they wear a certain type of way, or they try out these new glasses that they didn't think they were like, you know, they didn't have the enough facial features for. They're like, you know what? I feel good. I don't feel shitty. I don't feel depressed. I feel sunny.
Yes.
Okay, I'm about to say it.
Say it. Say it with your full chest.
Living when you want to die.
You know, that was actually good. That was quite good. No, that was not dark. That was quite good. That was really good. It's living when you want to die. Like, I think that's actually what stops people from... that's like a
unaliving?
Yeah, like a deep wish to not live anymore. They just like, no, I want to live. Yeah, definitely. I have many reasons to live. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I love my wife. I love my work. Then none of those are true. They're actually the opposite.
Next.
That's actually the end.
No, we have more.
No,
I agree with that one. I think
Yeah.
would count on all three of us, አይደለ?
Okay. The last one? Yeah. When I said it like that.
Yeah, it counts for all three.
Yeah.
እሺ
So...
መጨረሻ ላይ ምን እንደሚል ታውቃላችሁ?
I'm sorry for everything you said.
Get help now.
Get help now. We're tried, tested, and written unbiased reviews of the best online therapy programs, including Talkspace, BetterHelp, and Regain. Find out which option is best for you. So,
where can you get help? Let's
before we
talk
get to
about
that, the disclaimer that I want to do. So, disclaimer. በጣም አሪፍ የሆነ ማለት ነው። So, ሁሌም ክላስ ውስጥ እያለን እኔም የምንስማማበት አስተያየት ነው እና አስተማሪዎች ምን ይላል? Like, don't go on podcasts. Representing psychology, don't go on podcasts, don't go on TV shows, and I agree with them a lot. Like, I have shows I distaste, and I won't mention their names. የሬዲዮ ፕሮግራሞች አሉ, የቲቪ ፕሮግራሞች. They publicize and romanticize psychology where people think this is enough to actually feel like they know themselves, and they don't do anything about it. They don't read more about it. So the disclaimer is, if you want to know about defense mechanisms, if you want to know about Sigmund Freud, Anna Freud, and even people that have continued their work, it's a basic description, a basic classification. Right now, the taxonomy or በአከፋፈል ደረጃ 7 ዋና defense mechanisms አሉ ተብሎ ይታሰባሉ, and you have to read more about them. This podcast is from a psychologist wannabe, from a marketing professor, and from a person who owns a business. We are not experts on this. This was our opinion, and please do not take this as the end goal. Read more, and not self-help books. Not books that say you don't use defense mechanisms. You actually are beautiful.
Oh no, okay.
Please,
so like a self-help book is like, if it's written by someone else to help you, are you helping yourself?
እና
so again, please, disclaimer.
There was this thing 5 ኪሎ ስንገባ በጣም የሚባለው ነገር, a brain beep. You know what it means? It means when somebody gives you ideas and theories about something to the point where you lose all aspects of what you thought about that subject. ገብቶሻል? And they give you ideas to the point where you በቃ dissociate ታደርጊያለሽ from the whole idea you had about that subject. እና
I actually thought I had a brain. I thought the concept was called a brain beep, and I was thinking, why haven't I heard of this? Like, brain beep. Is this where it goes?
The same thing.
Is this where it goes? It's just like heartbeat just go beep, beep. I thought that was what it was doing, but not.
I want to say that in the end podcastoች ምናምን ነገር እንደዚህ አይነት ኮንሰፕት ነው, brain beep ነው የሚሰጡት most of the time. So I highly recommend you do your research. Self-diagnosis አይፈቀድም.
Yes, like, no. If you think there's actually something clinically wrong with you,
self-diagnosis አይፈቀድም.
We'll try to leave links to, clinics and... I don't know. Don't
they're getting much better. Practices are being
hopefully opened. Don't do online tests. It's like...
It's such a tricky subject.
BuzzFeed ruined psychology. BuzzFeed ruined psychology. BuzzFeed.
Okay.
With their personality tests. It started off like, simple and like a non-harmful. How many have you taken? None.
Really?
Responsible adult. Remember? TikTokers. I'm trying not to like... It's like,
the
again,
point I was trying to make was...
No BuzzFeed.
was self-diagnosis. ላስጨርስ? Sure. ጨርስ.
That's what we call regression. Hi.
I'm waiting actually.
On both ends. I win this game. Thank you.
So, no, I was trying to say self-diagnosis አይፈቅድም. If you see the symptoms of any of this, the best thing you could do is go to a doctor. In choosing a doctor, you need to understand that you have to choose somebody you feel safe with and comfortable with. And you have options. I know financially straining ሊሆን ይችላል. So there are people who do it as charity.
Yes.
Again, from what I've learned from a few friends of ours, group talks rasu from people who are suffering the same things as you helps. So there are solutions to this. You don't have to suffer alone.
Yes. Actually, I didn't have this thought until you actually mentioned it. So once again, whether defense mechanisms let us operate in society. Like, function and እንድናደርግ የሚጠቅሙ ነገሮች ናቸው. ችግሩ የሚመጣው if we don't know when we're doing them, or if we do them too much, it can get to an extreme where they kind of overtake our personality, and instead of being defense mechanism or the ego working to suppress the id, it becomes the ego itself. It's like without knowing, you're not blocking or anything, you're just being it. You're getting triggered a lot. So the first one is, it's not a scary concept, and I mean, it took a lot out of us to actually recognize these in ourselves. It does. So don't think as well, because you would go to a clinic or a therapist or have a group talk, that you will know from the beginning. For me, it was for the first time I picked up a psychology book. It was a common course for my sister that she was taking. It was 11 years ago. So whatever I understand about them now, it's been 11 years in the making. Whatever I'm able to do, combat them, again, self-diagnosis is not advisable. ግን የበለጠ ማወቅ እኛም I think defense mechanisms ብለን ለዚህ topics ስንመርጥ የነበረው is to give people awareness. If they're doing it, for them to recognize it. Or because a lot of these defense mechanisms, people do it, okay, significant amount, unconsciously ነው የሚያደርጉት. Men don't know why they're angry, women don't know why they manipulate, young people don't know why they act out, old people don't know why they regress. Again, going with stereotypes.
Yes, thank you.
Please bear with me.
I almost cried. Manipulate. I get angry like a real man.
መጨረሻውን ሜንሽን አድርገን አልጨረስንም እኮ
ጨርሰናል ማብራሪያዎች ናቸው.
Okay.
So once again, the history is amazing, and I'm not even saying this as a psychology student or a psychologist wannabe, but Sigmund Freud, if you look into his life alone and why he was the psychologist to come up with defense mechanisms as a concept, and then why did Anna, his daughter, take what was their relationship between the two of them? The best way to learn about psychology, as I've heard from one of my professors, is learn about the psychologists themselves. Unfortunately, psychology criticize የሚደረገው ለዛ ነው. Theories, it's related personally with their lives. So were they objective enough when coming up with these kind of theories? Defense mechanisms, Sigmundንም Annaንም ከዛ ላይ መጡትም taxonomios, the neo-Freudians as well. And you might even find articles that tell you they're hoaxes, that they are bull peep. So እነሱንም አንብቧቸው. Like, the best thing about psychology and these topics is that the amount of material that is there online to educate yourself. Here's why I love psychology. I don't think there has been a school of thought which is so strong and weak that psychologists were the caster by schools of thought still exist የሚያደርጉ እንደ ፊዚክስ ምናምን ይሄ ኒውቶኒያን ምናምን እንደሚባለው ይሄ ተረስተው ወይም ትክክል አይደለም. Like, እስካሁን የተጨፋጨፉ ነው right now still ማለት ነው. So the ones who decide to go with cognitive or psychosexual, now known as a psychoanalytic, the one who go with behaviorist, እነሱ ላይ ራሳቸው ስኩል አላቸው. If you want to dive deep into these, all the books are available. Once again, Google Scholar, Library Genesis, there are Telegram groups, there are so many resources if you want to learn about yourself, if you want to learn about defense mechanisms, if you want to be a better person, if you want to be more psychotic, all the resources. ሁሉም ነገር አለ.
Don't want to be more psychotic.
Thank
please.
you.
I think we should call it a day here. Thank you for joining us. You will be seeing us again.
It was lovely.
Thank you to Taraki for their space, their platform. Thank you to our production manager. See you next time.
Bye.
Yeah.